Hi, Kurgan here. This is my first weapon review for Battlefield 3, and hopefully the first of many. I figured I would start off my reviews with what I feel is the new go-to gun for the Assault or Medic class. I'll be going over the changes from the September 4th balancing patch that was followed a week later by Armored Kill. Looking around, I haven't seen many reviews of the G3A3 out there, especially after the patch. The big talk after the patch landed was about how the M16A3 was nerfed, and how the M416 is now the new golden gun. After a bit of play, I have a slightly different opinion on that subject and felt I would share my opinion with the rest of you. For starters, the one thing to remember for this gun is that it did not get any drastic changes during the patch. The reload time was slightly tweaked in favor of this gun. It also received an accuracy buff while being deployed with the bipod. But the biggest change for this patch, what really makes the G3 stand out to me, is something that didn't even affect it, and that is the heavy barrel nerf. Now let's go over these changes in reverse order, since I feel the heavy barrel had the greatest effect on this gun's position in the ladder that is assault rifles. Basically, what DICE did to the heavy barrel was reduce the distance of the bonus range damage on the 5.56, 5.45, and 6.5mm assault rifles. Now that covers every single assault rifle in the game, except for the G3A3. When I first seen this in the patch notes, this is the one change that really stood out to me, since now not only is the G3 the highest damage AR in the game, but it is the one with the greatest benefit from the heavy barrel. The G3A3 has always been known as the big hitter as far as assault rifles go, and it uses the larger 7.62 by 51mm rounds. This is the same ammo used in the M60 and the M240B. Now, since this gun was not affected by the heavy barrel change, it feels identical to what it did before the patch, which I can't say the same for any of the other assault rifles at distance. I think this was the biggest change from the patch, since it affects every single other assault rifle, and that this change dwarfs the M16A3 nerf that many were worried about. Now, on to the numbers. The G3 with no barrel attachment has a drop-off range of 60 meters, which is about 10 meters farther than every other assault rifle right off the bat. Once you toss the heavy barrel on the gun, it extends that range all the way out to 90 meters. To put that into perspective, every other assault rifle in the game has a drop-off point of 50 meters without any barrel attachments. Now, after the patch, the heavy barrel extends that drop-off range out to 66 meters, which is an extended damage range of 16 meters for every other assault rifle, whereas the G3 enjoys a 30-meter bonus. Because of this, the G3 just feels like a much more rounded weapon, because not only is it capable in close quarters because of the high damage rounds, but it's devastating at range. After the patch, that difference is noticeable when compared with the other assault rifles. Now, on to the bipod changes. After trying it out a few times, the big thing I've noticed is the vertical recoil seems lower. Before the patch, the bipod just didn't seem to do all that much for the vertical recoil. And with the G3 not having too much side to side, the vertical is the only thing it has in supply. Looking through some of the stats, it appears before the patch, the bipod reduced horizontal recoil by 50%. While that's nice, like I just said, the G3 just doesn't have that much of it. After the patch, the horizontal recoil has been reduced to a 25% reduction, but the big change is in the vertical recoil reduction. Pre-patch, the G3, while mounted, had 0.25 recoil. To put that into perspective, a M16 without a bipod has 0.26 recoil. After the patch though, the G3 on a bipod now has 0.15 recoil, a very welcome change, and it just makes the gun feel much better while mounted. And the last change the G3 received was the reload time being tweaked. This change was not huge, but unlike some of the other reload timers being adjusted, the G3 has both the short and long timers tweaked, rather than just one of them being changed. The short reload time went from 2.1 seconds to 2.0, while the long reload went from 3.4 seconds to 3.3. So while these aren't huge changes, both are in favor of the gun, and when playing some of the meat grinder maps, reload speed can really make or break a weapon. Now, my general thoughts on the G3 are that it's just an extremely balanced weapon. Some of the assault rifles like the FAMAS or the AEK are extremely good for CQ situations. Then others like the AK-74M or the SCAR-L are assault rifles you would look to for longer range engagements. The big game changer on the G3 though is the 34 damage per round close quarters and 22 at max range. With the heavy barrel nerf to the other ARs coupled with those high damaging rounds, that's what makes this gun stand out. The G3 is an extremely capable weapon at all ranges. As the chart shows, the G3 actually has a faster time to kill than the M416 in close quarters. The difference mid-range is negligible, and the G3 is superior until about 68 meters to the M416. The other benefit to this gun that I covered in the recent changes is the reload time at 2.0 seconds. It is now the third fastest reloading assault rifle, trailing the M16A3 by 0.2 of a second, which on those meat grinder maps makes me feel very comfortable with this gun, whereas a gun like the FAMAS, which has a 2.9 second long reload, I just feel takes so long I'm risking death each time I reload on a map like No Char TDM. And last but not least, my preferred equipment for this gun. As far as sights go, the red dot personally works well for me, but the Cobra is a great sight as well that I have no problems with. It will all come down to personal preference on the reticle versus the thickness of the edge of the scope. I follow that with the bipod, since it was just buffed. I don't use it much, but if I need it for long range engagements, it does help. It's also great for holding a point and suppressing. The barrel of choice is the heavy barrel. Since this is now the assault rifle that benefits the most from it, it is really the barrel of choice. I hope this review has been helpful to some of you out there, and I hope that you guys try this weapon out. If you want to see any other reviews from me, leave it in the comments and I'll take a look and try and get a review up. Thanks.